Hey guys, so today we're going to be filming my version of Carnivore Armadillo eggs. You can see how they're going to turn out. Let's get to the video. This is Brian with Carnivore Conviction again. I'm coming to you today with a cooking video. This is going to be my version of the Carnivore Armadillo eggs. Traditional versions of this have a jalapeno inside. It's basically like a jalapeno popper inside of a ball of meat formed into an egg shape covered in bacon. And so I'm going to do basically the same thing, but without the jalapeno. So we'll get started with some of the ingredients that I'm going to use. I'm going to use 2 pounds of the ground beef, which I showed in another video on how I packaged those up. I'm going to use some regular cut bacon. I'm also going to do a version with sausage rather than ground beef. We've got some shredded cheese and a block of cream cheese for the filling. And then I have my favorite seasoning. It's called Magic Chick Dust. I get it locally here. So yeah, we'll get started with the video. All right, I've got my Camp Chef smoker out here. I'm gonna go ahead and get this started and set the temp. I'm gonna set the temp for 275 degrees at a smoke setting of about 8. All right, get that rolling. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is make the filling. I've got a block of softened cream cheese here that I put in a bowl, and we're just going to throw some of my favorite seasoning on there. This is probably gonna be a couple tablespoons, maybe a tablespoon by the time I'm done with it. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that in there. I'm also going to throw some cheese in there. Probably say that's about a half a cup. And then we're going to mix it up real good. We may throw a little bit more seasoning in or cheese, just depending on how it looks here. Yeah, I'm thinking we need some more seasoning here. Probably be about 2 tablespoons by the time we're done. Maybe a little more than that. And then I'm going to throw a little bit more cheese in there. Probably end up with a cup and a quarter of cheese. And mix it up real good. All right. And that is our filling completed. Looks great. All right, next we're gonna season up the ground beef. I'm using 80/20, and you can see I put it all in this big bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and season it with my favorite seasoning here. We're gonna use a few tablespoons as well. We're just gonna mix this up super well. I'm gonna use a little bit more seasoning here. Alright, I just washed my hands. For this next part, I'm going to separate the beef out into the different sizes of eggs. I'm going to use my hands for this. So we'll see how many eggs we can get out of this. Alright, they're not perfect size, but that'll work. Looks like we're going to get about 6 eggs with that 2 pounds. It might have been a little less than 2 pounds as well. Alright, next I'm going to form up the sausage. I'm expecting to get probably about 3 eggs out of this one if we got 6 eggs out of 2 pounds. This is 1 pound of sausage. Alright, so there is my sausage eggs. So we've got 9 total eggs. We're going to fill them with filling and coat them in bacon. All right, this next process, I'm just going to show you on the one on how I fill these with the filling, and then I will fill all of them with filling, and then I'll show you that, and then we'll get to the bacon step. So I flatten it out a little bit. We got to have enough for 9 fillings. So I'm just going to grab a little bit. And then I'm going to cover this up. The key is you want to make sure that that filling is completely covered and get it as centered as much as you can. We got some filling there. Want to pinch that down. Any holes that are going to come out in the smoker, you're going to see it come through, so you want to make sure that you get it nice and covered. Okay, so there is our covered, stuffed, and I'm going to do that with all the other ones, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now it's time to wrap these in bacon. So I got my egg here, and what I'm going to do is I'm using regular cut bacon just so the bacon can get cooked through and get crispy during the smoke session. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and take one piece and go long ways like this. But I'm going to try to keep that on the bottom, the seam. And then I'll take the other part. We'll start there and try and wrap this this way. Now, I think I'm going to end up using 3 pieces of bacon per. Get it wrapped fairly well. And then I forgot to mention, I'm also going to use some toothpicks to stick all the way through to try and hold that bacon in place. So I'm just going to put in a few different sections here. Alright, so our finished product should look something similar to that. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the rest, and I'll see you when I'm done. Okay, so the last thing I like to do before they go in the oven is give it one more sprinkle of my favorite seasoning. Alright, those look pretty good. The last thing we're going to do is I wanted to show you this Meter Plus probe that I have. This is a wireless probe that connects to your phone or tablet, and it'll tell you what the internal temperature is, and you can set up a whole cook for it. So I'm going to go ahead and put one of these in this big one right here, and I'm going to insert it long ways into the end, so it's hopefully somewhere around that center. And then we're going to cook these to get to about an internal temp of 160 degrees. Alright, this next part's probably the easiest. You can see my grill is up to 270 degrees. We're going to go ahead and just start putting these in there. These top ones are the sausage, and the rest of these are the beef. Alright, this is the one with the probe on it. So we'll let that cook. We'll be back. Alright guys, so I got 3 different probes in there. I got a black one in the sausage, a red one in the ground beef, and then the wireless probe. And they're all saying a few different things. The black one's saying 163, the red one's saying 152, and my wireless one is reading about 145. So wanted to show you the importance of having one of these instant thermometers. We'll go ahead and double check what they're reading. So my wireless one was reading 145, and it's right around there at that 145, 146 mark. $147. This one's saying 154. And it's closer to that 149. And then this black one is saying 163. This is the sausage. And actually about 155, 154. So it's important to have one of these thermometers just to double check your probes. So we'll keep them going. Okay, let's check these again. My wireless probe saying about 159. And this black one, it's the sausage, saying right around that 165. So I think the 3 sausages are done. Yeah, that one's over as well. Let's see what this one. All right, so we're getting real close. I'm gonna go ahead and take off those sausage ones and give the beef just a few more minutes. All right, guys, here's the finished product on the sausage one I took off a few minutes ago. I gave it a couple minutes to rest. Now let's dig in and see how it looks on the inside here. All right, you can see that looks absolutely delicious. We're gonna find out how the beef one looks here in a minute. All right, guys, I think we finally reached temperature here. I'm gonna grab my instant probe here. Check it. Yeah, so we're right at 165 there on the biggest one. Might be a little over, yeah. Some of these smaller ones. All right, I'm gonna take these off and we'll see you inside. All right, so as you can see, this is the one that had the probe in it the whole time. I absolutely love this meter plus probe. As you can see from the video, probably this was the most accurate probe of all of the ones that I was using. So love this probe. Just remember to use something so you don't burn yourself when you take it out. Now, this is the ground beef one. Let's go ahead and cut it open and see what she looks like. Oh yeah. Guys, that's going to be so delicious. I'm excited about this. All right, guys, here's the finished product. As you can see, they turned out amazing. Wanted to once again point out the meter plus. Love this thing. It's super accurate. Make sure you go and check this out. The link for that is down in the description. Super happy with how these things turned out. The bacon cooked properly. The insides were perfect. As you could see, they took about an hour and 35 to an hour and 45 minutes. But all in all, I'm quite happy with how they turned out. They taste amazing. Let me know if you'd try these and what you'd change if you were to do it yourself. Thanks so much again for watching, guys. I hope you have a great day.